Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of what is today's episode? Today is Thursday. Today, we just have a live episode to talk about a new feature that I want to share with you that I just found out from ChatGPT, makers of OpenAI, with image editing capabilities. Now, if you've been using ChatGPT, and specifically if you have the upgraded version that allows you to use DALL-E, you've probably already realized that it can be pretty easy to create images in ChatGPT, but editing images is a whole different story. So today I saw that they released within the past 24 hours a couple new features. I'm going to go through those features, did a couple test runs, going to talk about how those features work, where you can find them, and what you'll need to be able to access these image editing features. And then I'll also give you some scenarios that might be useful. On the thumbnail for this video, you saw three different images. If you haven't saw it, I will bring it up on the screen. But you saw three different images, one being an original image, the second being an image that I made an edit to. And then I made a third version because I was really curious if editing these images was going to keep the same likeness of the person featured in the image and if the background would change at all. So today I'm going to walk through some of those examples, and I'm going to do my favorite thing that I like to do with you is a live demo. So if you're here with me and tuning in and want to ask questions, feel free to do so. I'll be able to bring them up on the screen. Welcome to the show, Loretta Camp from YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions at all, just feel free to post them here, and I'll either get back to you during the live show or I can answer your questions on the replay, either or. So let's go ahead and dive into the topic for today. So to start with, ChatGPT is going to be the tool that we're working with. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, it is an AI-assisted tool that allows you to be able to do a number of things. One of them creating text, creating images. Hopefully very soon this year, I hope we get the video editing tool, but it allows you to use AI in a very easy and simple way without knowing any code. They have a part of OpenAI's ChatGPT that allows you to do some advanced features, which is different than the things that you can do in the free version. So many of you may have the free version, and the features that I'm going to show you today aren't available in that, but they are going to be available in the paid version, which is either $20 or $25 per month. Okay. So let me go ahead to share my screen and talk about where to find these. And then I'll show you a couple of demos that I did. And then we'll do a live demo so that you can see how this feature works in the real world. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if you're on mobile, you may not be able to see this as close, but maybe if you turn your phone sideways or when you get home, watch the full screen video, you'll be able to see. So when you're inside of ChatGPT, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're using ChatGPT 4, not ChatGPT 3.5. 3.5 is not going to give you the access to DALL-E, which is the image generating tool inside of here. Okay, so you want to start by making sure you're using ChatGPT 4. Next, you can go to Explore GPTs. And in this section, you'll see a number of GPTs, which you can think about as like AI bots that are pre-programmed to do specific tasks. Okay, so today we're going to use the one that OpenAI created called DALL-E, which is right here on top of the page. And using DALL-E, you'll be able to do a number of things. And I'm going to walk through just a couple examples of those. So I'm going to open up DALL-E. I see that it's not showing right here on top. Let me just, here we go. By ChatGPT and do start a chat. All right, cool. So now that we started a chat, we have the ability to be able to do a couple of things. And let me just make sure, let me put myself down here so you get a little bit bigger screen. Okay. So now that we're here, you'll notice right away, if you've used this before, that something's different about the layout. One of the things that's different is at the bottom, they have some kind of pre-programmed image styles. This wasn't there before. So typically you would have to go look up artistic styles to give the AI a prompt and tell it what style of image you want to create. So some of the ones that I see here, they have like feathers, analog film, 3D wireframe, and all of these are going to give you a different artistic style. If you don't like any of these, there's a little icon here that allows you to be able to click and generate some new ideas of image styles. So first thing we're going to do is just test that. I'm going to click 3D wireframe because I think that looks kind of cool. And you'll notice that it actually puts it right here inside of the prompt. The next thing I did, what I was testing earlier, is then I just decided to do my prompt, basically telling it what kind of image that I want. Now, one thing that I've always found to be curious, and I didn't know why they didn't build this from the beginning, but I'm glad it's here now, is that you had not a good, clear way to be able to tell the AI image generator what size image you want. It didn't understand pixels, but I noticed that if I put widescreen or if I said a square or a circle, I can get it to create images using different aspect ratios. Well, now they've incorporated that here, and you have a little drop down menu that gives you three options. You can do a square image, which is ideally for Instagram, fits well on just about every social media platform. You have a widescreen image, which is good for presentations. I use it oftentimes if I'm making an image for a thumbnail. And then you have a vertical image, which you could create for like a reel or a story cover. So those are all the different image sizes or aspect ratios that you can choose from. I'm going to choose widescreen for this example. Okay. So now you'll see that a couple of things have automatically been added to my prompt, and each one of them are comma separated. 3D wireframe to tell it the artistic style. Then I chose an image ratio, which this is widescreen aspect ratio. I'm just going to put a comma here, and now I'm going to tell it what I actually want to create. So I'm going to say create an image of, let's do a pumpkin sitting on a brick wall. Just typing some stuff as it comes to my mind. Next to a woman who is sipping, typing tea. Okay. Let's take it a little bit further. Make the woman African American and give her a braided hairstyle. Okay. So I gave a couple of things that I wanted to do with this image, and we're going to go ahead and hit enter after I correct my typos and see what we get. So it's going to go ahead and take those inputs that I gave it and now generate an image. Keep in mind that the speed of how fast this gets done may vary. I've noticed sometimes when I'm on here at certain points of the day, maybe it's more used by more people. It might be a little bit slower. It could also depend on your computer and how many programs you have open. But this takes usually, no more than typically 10, 15 seconds in most cases. So we'll see how well it generates the image that we prompted. Okay. Now, while that's happening, I want to make sure that I'm watching for any comments and stuff. If you do have a comment and you're posting stuff, I'll be there in a second. I just want to make sure we get through this process here while we wait for this. Okay. All right. So a couple of things that I want to point out to you is it gave me two images, and I noticed it did that for me earlier today too. It used to just generate one. So I can appreciate the fact that it generated two images. And let's click on these images to view a little bit larger. It says here are two images based on your description: 3D wireframe, scene featuring a pumpkin on a brick wall, and an African-American woman with a braided hairstyle sipping tea. So a couple of things that you can do from this point is you have the option to be able to copy, which is going to allow you to copy whatever prompt generated these images. You can regenerate, which allow you to be able to create new images if you didn't like the way that these were created. Or you could just give it a thumbs down to tell it this was a bad response and I don't like what you did. This is a way of kind of training your AI. I'm going to click on the image so that I can view it larger and we can see more detail. So here you'll be able to see a little bit more detail of the first image, and then I can also go ahead and click the second image. Now, I really like the second image. One thing that I'm going to test here with you live is changing the attire of the woman. Now, this was something that they never had before. This is new, and this is kind of part of the editing features that are new. So there's a little paint board with a brush here, which is for editing. It doesn't say edit, but that's what that is. And then I noticed that it gave me a selection tool. So I can take the selection tool here. If you ever use Photoshop, maybe if you use Magic Eraser inside of Canva, it allows you to kind of highlight things and make edits to a specific part of an image. So let's test this out here. I didn't think about testing this earlier, but let's test it here. And then I'll show you an example I made earlier. So this is going to be interesting to see what it does. So I'm going to highlight everywhere that her attire is. Let's do that. And I don't have to be perfect here. Just want to make sure I highlight all the sections that to me resemble some type of clothing. Okay. So there, it's kind of like masking. They call this masking inside of photo editing. So now I've created my mask, and now I have a certain section that I'm about to tell it to change something in this image. Now, what I was looking for when I first tested this was, will the rest of the image stay the same? Will it understand the prompt? And do I have to be very precise about the section that I'm editing? So let's give that a test. So you'll notice down here, there's a little box that says edit selection. This is basically saying the part that you've highlighted, you can now give us a new prompt. So I'm going to say change the woman's attire to a business suit. Let's try color, to a purple business suit. And let's see what else we might be able to do. Add, let's say, a necklace around her neck. Now, I highlighted a part of her neck, but that wasn't my intention when I made my selection. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens here. So I'm going to hit enter and then let the AI do its thing. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up my phone real quick and look at the comments here. Hey, welcome to the show. I see some familiar names and faces here. I'll be coming back to talk to you all soon. Hey, Kyle, thank you for jumping on. Dr. Shantina's tag. Thanks, Carmen, for tagging people on. We're going to see what this thing does. Welcome to the show. All right, almost done. The other things that I'll point out about this. Okay, I'm impressed. Even though it's not, I didn't tell it to make sure she's still kneeling or sitting on her knees, but considering the fact that this is happening on the fly and I can continue to do this process numerous times, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I think that's pretty cool that it, one, focused on the part that I highlighted. Two, I'm impressed the fact that it gave a necklace around the neck and it understood that prop. And three, the fact that it took the color and did what I wanted it to do. So this is actually pretty cool, and I'm happy to see that. I could also, from this point, go further and make another edit. So let's say I want to edit this image again. I'm going to click that little selection icon, choose the size of my, selection tool. I can make it smaller if I want to highlight something that's smaller, or I can make it larger if I want to hire a larger section. So let's try this. Let's highlight this pumpkin. Curious. Okay. And we're going to highlight that pumpkin, and let's say change the pumpkin to what should we change it to? To a bowl of apples and pears. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Now, the good thing to know is that the original image that I created is still stored in the history. So I can always go back to the original image, even though I've made these variations. You can do this for every image that you store. And then I also like that I'm going to show you something that I realize a lot of people don't realize is when you click on an image and make it larger to view larger, you actually have the ability to copy whatever prompt was generated to create that image. So let's say I want to create an image and I like some things about it, but I want to change some things about it. I can copy that prompt, change the keywords of the things that I didn't like, and then regenerate and create a new image. The image is going to be slightly different. In the past, it does not keep the same look, but it does. When you're editing, you can keep the same look, but when you're doing it the other way, changing the prompt, it's always a little bit different. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up for the most part. I wasn't too precise on what I highlighted. I love the fact that the rest of the image remained the same. I have my bowl of apples and pears, which is pretty cool. So this is all like happening in just a matter of seconds. Imagine if I was someone who was like illustrating and doing this by hand, how long it would take me to go through and do all these edits by hand, redraw and all that stuff. Like, it's pretty cool that it's able to respond in such a fast way and understand my prompts. This image editing stuff was not available 24 hours ago. It just happened within the past 24 hours. So I wanted to make sure that I brought that to you and show you that demonstration. Let me show you some more stuff that I did earlier today. And this was pretty cool. And I think this will be one of those use cases that I could see some use cases when you want to create a story, or maybe you're doing something visually where you want to create a consistent character, but you want to change some elements about the image. So let me just show you what I did earlier and how that worked. So let me share my screen again. We're going to go this time out of here. And here's my history just to show you that every image that I generated is still stored here. If I was to click on the image, there's a little eye with a circle with the letter I, which is prompt. I can see what the prompt was and copy that and then generate a new image if I want to. So that's just a little hidden tip that I realize a lot of people don't know is available. I want to show you right now images that I generated for the thumbnail for this video. Okay, let's go here. All right, so here's another example that I did earlier. I was testing out some of the pre-programmed things that were there, and I noticed one of them was low angle. So I clicked low angle as my artistic style, and then I just told it to create an image of an African American woman, and I told it to, she was excited because she had a bright idea about her business, and do it in a low angle. I told it to use purple tones and LED lighting. So if you're not familiar with the term low angle, it's basically the camera from a lower perspective aimed up. So that's why we have such this weird angle of the camera shooting up from her chin. Typically not a flattering angle to take a photo of a person, but just wanted to test it out and see how it worked. And again, it generated 2 images, both low angle, and it took all my cues of about the purple tones and a level of excitement. So the next thing I did to test this out is I was like, well, let me see what happens if I highlight this woman's lips, and I wanted to change her lip color. I wasn't precise in my selection, so I was just kind of rough with the selection. If I wanted to be more precise, I could have made it smaller and done that. But considering that, I think that it did pretty good. I just said, let's give her bright red lipstick, and it was able to keep that image of the woman, so she's still the same, and then add some bright red lipstick, okay? So that's just one example. And then I asked it to create another image here, and it just generated an image of a new woman with bright red lipstick. So I was testing this out just so I can kind of share these ideas with you earlier. Now, I also created an image of someone reporting the news was my goal. I said to create an image with purple hues, with a tech-inspired news studio and an African-American male with a bald head, reporting the news is what I asked it to do. And this was the first image that I generated. Next, I tried to test it out a little bit, make a selection tool, and add a TV monitor on here. And I said to create a TV monitor showing the OpenAI and DALL prompt. And I didn't get the TV monitor. I got some version of OpenAI and DALL, but not their actual logos. So that wasn't too good, which was fine. But then I wanted to try to still edit that image further to see how far I could push it. And I said, I highlighted the jacket. So if you'll notice in this image, his jacket is blue. This one, I highlighted the jacket and asked it to make a purple jacket. I didn't give it any, I didn't say a business jacket or suit. So it looks kind of like a tuxedo, but it did take the prompt, and everything else in the image is still the same. And to push things a little bit further, I wanted to change his tie color. So I highlighted his tie color, and then I got this green tie. So it's pretty cool to be able to keep the same image. This was not something that you could do before, and change aspects of the image. I am curious to see if I could create a person doing one thing in one frame and then create a second image of that person, just to kind of think about like movement. If I wanted to kind of animate an image, would I be able to create a series of images of the same person in certain different body positions to kind of show movement? So those will be some of the things that I test out here. So let me just go to the comments real quick and see what we are getting. The iteration of images while keeping consistent elements is powerful. Exactly. That was the thing that blew me away the most, is to be able to keep that consistent image and only affect the parts that you highlighted. So I can only imagine how much further they're going to be taking this and what else might come from this. I can't wait to see what's there. Melanie, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Carmen, thank you for bringing people on to the show here. All right. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. If you aren't someone who is already using ChatGPT, I highly, highly recommend. I use it every day for a number of things. And I would say the biggest uses for me are when I'm in a creative mode or about to start creating or planning. It's a very good brainstorming and thinking assistant tool for me. I will give it an idea of something that I'm about to work on, something that I need to do. Maybe there's some plans that I need to make. Lately, we've been using it to kind of help frame out our processes for our services within the company, and giving it information about who our target audience is, what their challenges are, and how our services might be a benefit for them, and using the AI to generate landing page copy, to create social media posts, to create email blasts. If you got my email today that I sent out about our managed marketing services, AI. I told it what we did and, gave it the prompt and it generated that for me. And then I made some edits to it to kind of speak in the tone that is relevant to us in the way that I speak. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Hey, Carmen. Yes, Carmen and I are texting each other throughout the day, every day about, oh, look what I did. So we're always kind of testing out and playing around. And Carmen's been using it quite a bit. And she's someone who, before, I'm not going to say that you're scared of technology like you were before. You really dive into it. And I really love to see that you do that. So she dives into it, and it just really takes having somebody kind of to guide you through that and help you get comfortable with it and not be afraid to test it out, because you're not going to break anything. Melanie has a question that says, can AI be helpful in doing trailers? Great question. I'm going to say yes, it will be. And the reason I say yes, it will be is because there's a tool that ChatGPT, or I should say OpenAI, created called Sora, Sora. And it's a video creation tool. Sora is not out yet. I can actually pull it up on the screen and just kind of show you an example to answer that question. So it's not out to the public just yet. I do believe that I saw that some people got access to test it out. I do believe that they're trying to make sure they release this in a responsible way so that you don't have to, well, it's going to happen, but just to kind of reduce the chance of people creating videos using copyrighted material, and just trying to put some framework around it. So I have seen some of the things that have been generated, and I'll just give you an example of a video that they released as samples. Let me just share that with you. These videos don't have sound, but I'll just show you. So the prompt here is: a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with the warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long dress, red dress, and black boots. So from that prompt, this is a video that was created just simply by entering text. The other ones that they have here that I thought were cool was this one with the woolly mammoths walking through the snow. So this was another one that they generated with this new Sora tool. So if you have a number of these, and I believe the max length on these clips is going to be, was it 60 seconds? I believe I read that there was a length cap on how long those clips can be. So to answer your question, when this becomes available, assuming that they allow you to do kind of what we saw here, yeah, you could create a trailer. I could see someone having an idea for the trailer. I could see them then using ChatGPT to create the scenes, to say, what scenes would you recommend in this trailer for my new book or for my new video or for this new service, and then generating it all within just a matter of minutes, hopefully. So definitely be on the lookout for that. For anyone who is interested in learning AI, having some tech support to help you kind of learn not just AI, but all these different tools that are available and necessary, really, if you're doing business in 2024. We have a service called our group coaching and tech support. If you go to wemergemedia.com, we have a tech support under our services tab. You'll be able to join that. What that allows you to do is it gives you access to a private community that we have, where I know right now there's 3 times a week we're offering live tech support. And when I'm doing things like this, members of that will be able to come on and be in the studio with me to ask questions. Plus, we'll be doing all of our AI and marketing automation trainings and workshops inside of that space. So we made it super, super affordable for the first batch of people who join. There's a 7-day free trial. There's a $49 per month fee, and you can just pay per month and cancel whenever you want to if you need to. If you are doing business in 2024 and you're using technology and you're marketing your business, this is good to have. We have a couple of people who've joined over the past couple of weeks, and they're just like, I've always needed this, because there's sometimes when you just get stuck and you need somebody to talk to directly, not the bots that they have you chatting to that aren't understanding and answering your question. So we're actually there live, myself, Michaela, or Letitia, to be able to offer that tech support to you. So you'll just go to wemergemedia.com under the service tabs, click tech support, and then we have 3 different ways that we'd be able to provide that. Group coaching, which is the one that I just talked about, private coaching if you want a one-on-one service, or marketing done for you, which is our full suite of marketing where we do every and anything for you. Right here is the group coaching and tech support. Just hit start a subscription, and then it'll bring you over to the page to get started and join. Okay. Inside there, we have our schedule of all the dates that tech support is going to be available. Plus, we have some marketing tools like education guides, our tech stack about all the software tools that we use, and then more things are going to be added here. Okay. So that was my show for today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Glad to answer your question, Melanie. You're more than welcome. And Carmen, thank you so much for tagging all these folks and letting them know that I'm here today. I will be coming back with more updates when they become available. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you like and subscribe and share wherever you're watching this video. All right. Take care, and I will see you next time.